Chapter 73. Good Conduct. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "The Messenger of Allah was the best of all the people in behavior." Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "I never felt any piece of velvet or silk softer than the palm of the Messenger of Allah, nor did I smell any fragrance more pleasant than the smell of Messenger of Allah. I served him for 10 years, and he never said, 'Uff,' an expression of disgust, to me. He never said, 'Why did you do that?' for something I had done, nor did he ever say, 'Why did you not do such and such?' for something I had not done." Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Sab bin Jathama, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "I presented a wild ass to Messenger of Allah as a gift, but he returned it to me. When he perceived signs of despair on my face, he said, 'I have declined to accept it, because I am in the state of Iram." Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Nawaz bin Sam'an, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "I asked Messenger of Allah about virtue and sin, and he said, 'Virtue is noble behavior, and sin is that which creates doubt, and you do not like people to know about it.'" Muslim. Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, "Messenger of Allah did not indulge in loose talk, nor did he like to listen to it. He used to say, 'The best of you is the best among you in conduct.'" Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "Messenger of Allah was asked about the deed which will be foremost to lead a man to Jannah. He replied, 'Fear of Allah and the good conduct.' Then he was asked about indulgence, which will admit a man to hell fire, and he answered, 'The tongue and the genitals.' At-Tirmidhi, who classified it as hadith as-Sahih. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "Messenger of Allah said, 'The most perfect man in his faith among the believers is the one whose behavior is most excellent, and the best of you are those who are the best to their wives.'" At-Tirmidhi, who classified it as hadith as-Sahih. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, "I heard Messenger of Allah saying, 'A believer will attain by his good behavior the rank of one who prays during the night and observes fasting during the day.'" Abu Dawood. Abu Umama al-Bahili, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "Messenger of Allah said, 'I guarantee a house in Jannah for one who gives up arguing, even if he is in the right, and I guarantee a home in the middle of Jannah for one who abandons lying, even for the sake of fun, and I guarantee a house in the highest part of Jannah for one who has good manners." Abu Dawood. Jabir, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "The Messenger of Allah said, 'The dearest and nearest among you to me on the day of resurrection will be one who is the best of you in manners, and the most abhorrent among you to me, and the farthest of you from me, will be the pompous, the garrulous, and al-Mutafahikun. The companions asked him, O Messenger of Allah, we know about the pompous and the garrulous, but we do not know who al-Mutafahikun are. He replied, the arrogant people. At-Tirmidhi, who classified it as Hadith Hasan. Chapter 74. Clemency, Tolerance, and Gentleness. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, Messenger of Allah said to Ashaj, Abdul Qais, may Allah be pleased with him, you possess two qualities that Allah loves. These are clemency and tolerance. Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, the Messenger of Allah said, Allah is forbearer and loves forbearance in all matters. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet said, Allah is forbearer, and he loves forbearance, and rewards for forbearance, while he does not reward severity, and does not give for anything besides it. Forbearance. Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet said, whenever forbearance is added to something, it adorns it, and whenever it is withdrawn from something, it leaves it defective. Muslim. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a Bedouin urinated in the mosque, and some people rushed to beat him up. The Prophet said, leave him alone, and pour a bucket of water over it. You have been sent to make things easy, and not to make them difficult. Al-Bukhari. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet said, make things easy, and do not make them difficult. Cheer the people up by conveying glad tidings to them, and do not repulse them. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Jarir bin Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, he who is deprived of forbearance and gentleness is, in fact, deprived of all good. Muslim. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a man asked the Prophet to give him advice, and he said, do not get angry. The man repeated that several times, and he replied, every time, do not get angry. Al-Bukhari. Abu Ya'la Shaddad bin Aus, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, verily, Allah has prescribed ihsan, kindness for everything. So when you kill, you must make the killing in the best manner. When you slaughter, make your slaughter in the best manner. Let one of you sharpen his knife, and give ease to his animal, in order to reduce his pain. Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, whenever the Prophet was given a choice between two matters, he would always choose the easier, as long as it was not sinful to do so. But if it was sinful, he was most strict in avoiding it. He never took revenge upon anybody for his own sake. But when Allah's legal bindings were outraged, he would take revenge for Allah's sake. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, "Shall I not tell you whom the hell fire is forbidden to touch? It is forbidden to touch a man who is always accessible, having polite and tender nature." At-Tirmidhi, who classified it as Hadith Hasan. Chapter 75. Forgiveness of the ignorant. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, I asked the Prophet, "Have you ever experienced a day harder than the day of the Battle of Uhud?" He replied, "Indeed, I experienced them dangers at the hands of your people, i.e., the disbelievers from amongst the Quraysh tribe. The hardest treatment I met from them was on the day of Aqaba, when I went to Ibn Abd Yalil bin Abdkulal, who was one of the chiefs of Taif, with the purpose of inviting him to Islam, but he made no response to my call. So I departed with deep distress. I did not recover until I arrived at Qarn as-Thalab. There I raised my head and saw a cloud which had cast its shadow on me. I saw in it Gabriel, who called me and said, "Indeed, Allah, the Exalted, heard what your people said to you, and the response they made to you, and He has sent you the angel in charge of the mountains to order him to do to them what you wish." Then the angel of the mountains called me, greeted me, and said, "O Muhammad, Allah listened to what your people had said to you. I am the angel of the mountains, and my Rabb has sent me to you, so that you may give me your orders. I will carry out your orders. If you wish, I will bring together the two mountains that stand opposite to each other at the extremities of Makkah, to crush them in between." But Messenger of Allah said, "I rather hope that Allah will raise from among their descendants people as will worship Allah, the One, and will not ascribe partners to Him in worship." Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, Messenger of Allah never hit anything with his hand, neither a servant nor a woman, but of course he did fight in the cause of Allah. He never took revenge upon anyone for the wrong done to him, but of course he exacted retribution for the sake of Allah, in case the injunctions of Allah about unlawful acts were violated. Muslim. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I was walking with Messenger of Allah, who was wearing a Nadrani cloak with a very thick border, when a Bedouin happened to meet him. He took hold of the side of his cloak and drew it violently. I noticed that the violence of jerk had bruised the neck of Messenger of Allah. The Bedouin said, "O Muhammad, give me out of Allah's wealth that you possess." Messenger of Allah, Simla, turned to him and smiled, and directed that he should be given something. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I can see the messenger of Allah look like one of the prophets of Allah, whose people beat and made him bleed, while he was wiping the blood from his face and supplicating, O Allah, forgive my people, because they know not. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, the strong man is not the one who wrestles, but the strong man is in fact the one who controls himself in a fit of rage. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Chapter 76. Endurance of Afflictions. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a man said to Messenger of Allah, I have relatives with whom I try to maintain good relationship, but they sever relations with me, whom I treat kindly, but they treat me badly, with whom I am gentle, but they are rough to me. He replied, if you are as you have said, then it is as though you are feeding them hot ashes, and you will not be without a supporter against them from Allah, as long as you do so. Muslim. Chapter 77. Indignation against the transgression of divine laws. Abu Masud Uqba bin Amr al-Badri, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a man came to the Prophet and said, I join the morning salat late because of so-and-so who leads it and prolongs it. Abu Masud said, I have never seen the Prophet so angry while giving a speech as he was on that day. He said, some of you create hatred among the people against faith. Whoever leads salat, the prayer should make it brief, because the congregation includes old men and youngsters and those who have some urgent work to do. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah returned once from a journey and saw a curtain which I had hung along a platform with some pictures on it. The color of his face changed. He tore it up and said, O Aisha, the most tormented people on the day of resurrection are those who contend with Allah in terms of creation. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Quraysh were much worried about the case of a Muqazzamiyah woman who had committed theft and wondered who should intercede for her with Messenger of Allah, so that she would not get punished for her crime. Some said, Usama bin Zayd, may Allah be pleased with him, was his beloved, and so he may dare do so. So, Usama, may Allah be pleased with him, spoke to him about that matter, and the Prophet said to him, do you intercede when one of the legal punishments ordained by Allah has been violated? Then he got up and addressed the people, saying, the people before you were ruined, because when a noble person amongst them committed theft, they would leave him. But if a weak person amongst them committed theft, they would execute the legal punishment on him. By Allah, were Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad, to commit the theft, I would have cut off her hand. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet noticed spittle in the mosque in the direction of the Qibla. The signs of disgust were perceived on his face. Then he stood up and scraped it away with his own hand and said, when you stand in salat, you hold communion with your Rabb, and he is between you and the Qibla. Let no one, therefore, cast out his spittle in that direction, but only to his left or under his foot. Then he caught hold a corner of his sheet, spat into it, and folded it up, and said, or he should do like this. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Chapter 78. Obligation of rulers to show kindness to their subjects. Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, I heard Messenger of Allah saying, all of you are guardians and are responsible for your wards. The ruler is a guardian and responsible for his subjects. The man is a guardian and responsible for his family. The woman is a guardian and is responsible for her husband's house and his offspring. And so, all of you are guardians and are responsible for your wards. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Abu Ya'la Makil bin Yasar, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, any slave whom Allah makes him in charge of subjects, and he dies while he is not sincere to them, Allah will make Jannah unlawful for him. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Another narration is, Allah's Messenger said, he who does not look after his subjects with goodwill and sincerity will be deprived of the fragrance of Jannah. A narration in Muslim is, Messenger of Allah said, a ruler who, having control over the affairs of the Muslims, does not strive diligently for their betterment and does not serve them sincerely, will not enter Jannah with them. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, I heard thee, the Messenger of Allah, supplicating in my house, O Allah, treat harshly those who rule over my ummah with harshness, and treat gently those who rule over my ummah with gentleness. Muslim. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, the Banu Israel were ruled by the prophets. When one prophet died, another succeeded him. There will be no prophet after me. Caliphs will come after me, and they will be many. The companions said, O Messenger of Allah, what do you command us to do? He said, fulfill the pledge of allegiance to which is sworn first, then swear allegiance to the others. Concede to them their due rights, and ask Allah that which is due to you. Allah will call them to account in respect of the subjects whom He hath entrusted to them. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Aid bin Amr, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I visited Ubaydullah bin Ziyad and said to him, Dear son, I heard Messenger of Allah saying, the worst of rulers are those who treat their subjects harshly. Beware, lest you should be one of them. Al-Bukhari. Abu Maryam al-Azdi, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I said to Muawiyah bin Abu Sufyan, may Allah be pleased with them, I heard Messenger of Allah saying, if Allah invests to someone the affairs of the Muslims, and he, i.e., the ruler, ignores their rights, denies their access to him, and neglects their needs, Allah will not answer his prayer or realize his hopes, and will act towards him with indifference on the day of resurrection. So, Muawiyah appointed a person to keep a vigil on the necessities of the people and to fulfill them. Abu Dawood and at-Tirmidhi